you did a set of legs.
The bar isn't flawless. The bar is competent.
Coach Greg, in today's video, the aftermath of the deserved downfall of Mr. Mike Israetel. And so the internet anarchist has made a video about Mike Israetel, that's the exact title. It almost has 1 million views. And so following his video, my video, John Bravo's video, essentially everyone's videos, everyone's talking about this, Soph Jeff Nipod, because, well, he's involved in the circle jerk, you know, the fitness mafia. And since that time, Mike Israetel and his team have now resorted to deleting comments.
Oh my God, bro.
Don't you love it when your favorite fitness influencer just can't handle the heat? And so rather than getting out of the kitchen, they resort to typing in words that you have no permission to talk about. And which of those words is that exactly?
Enrique!
PhD. I mean, it's not even a word, it's 3 letters combined together. And why do you think that that is? Well, a lot of people, hundreds, every single video, are going to Mike Israetel's channel and typing, your PhD, it ain't all that. Hey, what about the PhD? Your PhD had over 200 mistakes. And so because of that, Mike and his team has decided we don't allow any comments, good or bad, to be said about my PhD. And so essentially what's going on is Mike Israetel and his team are censoring the internet. How do you all feel about censorship? Many people, most people, don't like it. And so when people don't like what you're doing, people want to have the right to say so. Hey, I don't like this video. I don't think you had a proper tan. You didn't lose because of 20 pounds of body water, whatever. And when you go and start deleting all these comments, and remember, we have proof. And if you're wondering, why don't you go about it right now? Go on any of Mike's videos and write, hey, I loved your PhD thesis. It was amazing. Give it a compliment and see what happens. And so John Bravo and I were talking the other night, and he's writing comments and he's saying, hey, my comment's been deleted. It's deleted yet again. And so lo and behold, this is the reason why. And so I'm gonna read what John Bravo's posted in his stories. Mike is so butthurt, he has crazy up filter set up on his YouTube channel. You can't even say the word PhD in a comment or it automatically gets deleted. Crying emoji, he made it a blocked word. What else has he blocked? You know, when I go on various channels, sometimes I notice that when I write a comment, no one sees it. Not one person comments about it, no likes, no dislikes, nothing. And so what they do is they don't allow your comment to be seen by the rest of the world. Essentially, they say, no, you're ghosted. We don't allow your comments because when you write a comment, other people are going to see it and they're going to start spiraling. And I don't like that because my feelings are hurt. You know, I really care about bro from Bangladesh. When he writes me a negative comment, it really hurts me because, you know, that guy 5,000 miles away, when I read that comment, all I feel is rage.
Like all I feel is rage.
I imagine beating them up or ripping apart and tearing apart a dog.
They're unspeakable.
I mean, Mike Israetel has literally stated that he would dream about taking away something from that person that medical science could never put back together again. I mean, bro's acting like the other people in the world are Humpty Dumpty.
Greg Doucette, who is a two-faced lying sociopath sucker. If I see him in real life, I might take something from him medical science can't give him back.
What did Humpty Dumpty do to you? He literally just sat on that wall and had a great fall. And somebody, that's not what Humpty Dumpty did. Humpty Dumpty had on that wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Everly after, and Jack and Jill came tumbling after. I have no memory. All I remember is Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, he had a great fall, and somebody came tumbling after. But maybe that's Jack and Jill. I don't know. And so John writes, who knows how many block words he set up because there's 0 negative comments on all his videos now. And so Mike acts like he doesn't care. Talk that shit. Talk that shit. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Remember, this is the WWE. Anyone that wants to say anything, you know, talk that shit. But deep down inside, it hurts him. It bothers him immensely. So much so that he had to block those words because he couldn't handle the negativity on his channel. And so there are still a few people that don't know about the drama. They don't know what's been going on. And so, for example, I'll write a comment on Jeff Nippod's channel, or as John Bravo calls him, Jeff Niptod. And people are like, oh, Greg, you're a hater. Why are you attacking? He has such good science-based information. And I'm thinking, where have you been? Science-based information? Jeff flip-flops more than Mike Israetel when he's sitting on that wall having a great fall. Back and forth, whatever the way the wind blows. Whatever allows him to sell more programs. And so for a while it was more volume than last time. And now it's less volume and train hard. But with the caveat that only if you're in a calorie deficit, because Solomon's former client, Jeff Nippod, did a study sample size 1 where he trained for a year and he put on a significant amount of muscle while in a calorie deficit by training with fewer volume than last time. And so all of those papers, those programs that he'd been selling millions of dollars, was it all for naught? I thought that was based on science, but why is it that we have to have science revisited? The new science, to say the opposite of what the old science said? Or is there just no such thing as science? I mean, remember Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia champion? What do you think he says about the science? Well, Mike Mentzer, he said train harder than last time. Well, not in those words, but he trained harder than last time. Maximum intensity. That was what he was all about with low volume. And Mr. Mike, what did he do? He tore him down. What does Mike Mentzer know?
And it was like Mike Mentzer's advice on diet. What? Motherfucker was around in 1982. I don't give a fuck what someone from 1982 said about diet. I'm sorry.
Gatorade.
Makes me shit my pants. Thank you, Greg.
Of those psychological implications, which ones have you suffered with the most?
They're unspeakable.
You're gonna follow his diet? You're gonna follow his training? We know way more than that. After all, I'm Mr. Mike, bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. And that's it.
I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. That's it.
That's it? Mike, you dieted on cereal and Gatorade, and you showed up out of shape, and you had surgery to remove 20 pounds of body water. Enrique! What more do we need to know? And so imagine 20 years from now when Mike is no longer with us, and someone makes a video and say, what do you think about Mike Israetel? Remember that guy? And say, well, I remember Mike Mentzer, but I don't really remember Mike Israetel. And so they explain the story, and they say, Enrique! Well, isn't that the guy that couldn't get in shape, that never got his IFBB Pro card, that he blamed his that he stated that they under-10 the living shit out of him? Oh yeah, the guy with the PhD with 200 plus mistakes who censored YouTube and never allowed you to make comments with the word PhD in it and perhaps others. That guy. Well, Enrique! I don't know. I feel like he wasn't as big or as jacked as Mike Mentzer. And I'm doubtful on that IQ being above 160. And so let's just take a glimpse at the deserved downfall of Mike Israetel, of which I make an appearance. The video is 34 minutes long. There's no way I can summarize the entire thing. Go and watch the original. I highly recommend it. Remember, it's from Internet Anarchist. And so let's pick up chapter 2, which features Coach Greg.
But even once you know, okay, I'm fucking training hard, do you do 3 hard sets? Do you do 6? Do you do 9?
And so I was critiquing Solomon's former client. Remember Jeff Nippod? And I said, you need to train harder. You need to train harder than last time. Jeff, he promotes not training hard. But wait a minute, didn't Jeff prove that Coach Greg was wrong, that he always promoted training hard? I mean, we're watching Internet Anarchists proving that Jeff Nippard suggested you don't train hard. And I posted a video for 5 minutes at the start of the video. Did you watch it? Proving with receipts that Jeff Nippard did not in fact tell everyone to train hard. Jeff Nippard cherry-picked 8 or 10 comments where he said train harder in 10 years.
Training to failure.
Bodybuilders tend to overemphasize how important going to failure is, when in reality you just have to be reasonably close to failure, usually within a couple reps of it. Plant-based lifters do optimized exercises to track their weights, and instead of always pushing their muscles as hard as possible, they push themselves in a more controlled way, hard enough to maximize the muscle stimulus, but not so hard that you create too much fatigue. This is basically how I've trained for the last 10 years.
And in comparison, he's saying train hard, yeah, compared to people who are doing 6-7 reps from failure. It's not hard enough. And so train hard that, but not too hard.
Greg, however, wasn't convinced by Mike's take, and just 3 days after this interview, he posted another video, this time directly challenging Mike's views.
And so I said you train harder than last time. Mike Menser, train harder than last time. Dorian Yates, harder than last time.
A bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. Still a bag of shit. You know what I mean, mate?
And what did Dorian Yates think about Mike? He says, you know what, Mike, who abuses steroids and who's going to take 10 years off his life? A bigger bag of shit is just a bigger bag of shit. Enrique! And so, just because you put on more size, it doesn't change the context of the bag, if you catch my drift.
Is that coming close to failure, 2 or 3 reps away, if you take the net balance of the evidence, doesn't seem to provide any more stimulus than going all the way to failure.
And so Mike was saying, Greg, he's not making any sense. He's saying to train harder than last time, but how do you know how much volume? And why would he say to train harder when doing 2 or 3 reps in reserve causes just as much growth as training to failure? Enrique! That's a lie. It's not true. And we have the data and the people to prove it. And so even Jeff Nippod has stated that, yeah, training harder, it does provide more growth, but hey, you can't do as much volume, and so he created a new program where you train with less volume and more intensity. And he's put on muscle finally after 5+ years not putting on any size, not putting on any muscle. He's finally put on muscle while in a calorie deficit. And so unless he's on HRT or perhaps in clomiphene or using Turk Builder Max and Turk Platinum in secret, what explanation is it other than training harder than last time it actually works? Interested in this, of course, click the link in the description, code Greg 15% off. But if you don't want to get this, you want to get in clomiphene, HRT, and so on, get to Algo RX. You can get your blood work taken there, enter code Greg for 10% off. And remember, the doctors prescribe you prescription pharmaceutical medication. It's not some SARM's website where they just sell bullshit. These are prescription pharmaceutical medications at far cheaper prices than, for example, Merrick Health. 2 to 3 reps shy of failure is close to failure. 2 to 3 reps shy of failure is a warm-up set for this boy. And so I've shown you what reps in reserve looks like. Remember when I was doing those pull-downs? This looks hard, right? This is failure, right? And I do 5 more reps and say, that's failure, right? Nope, I got more. And so you can train like a kitty cat if you want, but you're gonna have to do set after set after set. And what do I preach? Intensity harder than last time. And so when I hit failure, my warm-up was done. But y'all think you're training hard. Train harder than freaking last time, and then you'll make some gains. That's what I wanted to do.